Hello, everybody. This is Tucker Miller here again. And before I start this movie review, I want to apologize for not uploading any movie reviews for the past month, for the past 2 months. It's just because I there was a lot going on in life, and that I've been doing other stuff in life, and that I didn't have time to do any movie reviews. But now after a 2 month hiatus from movie reviews, I am officially back to doing more. And we're going to continue reviewing on all the Disney animated films. Unfortunately, we couldn't get them all done. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to review all of them by the time Zootopia 2 came out. And speaking of Zootopia 2, I actually have seen that movie in theaters, and I really enjoyed it. It was a great sequel, but we'll get to that at some point. I'm gonna just get all the Disney animated movies done whenever I can. The rest of these movies done whenever I can. Hopefully by the time when Hoppers comes out, even though it's not in the from the Disney animated studio lineup, it is Pixar, but either that or hopefully by the time when Toy Story 5 comes out this June. So, yeah. Even though both Hoppers is coming out this March, and I believe, and Toy Story 5 is coming out this June. Even though they're both Pixar movies, but hopefully I'll get them done by then. All the Disney animated films done by then. So, yeah. But anyways, I made you guys wait long enough. Now, without any further delay, like I said, for my next movie review, I'm going to be reviewing on Home on the Range. Came out in 2004. AKA the same year I was born. But anyways, let's get to the plot. So the plot of this movie is we got this cow named Maggie, who is this character voiced by Roseanne Barr. And Maggie has lost her home, and she got sent to this new place, which is also a farm, called Patch of Heaven, where she meets these two other cows. We got Mrs. Calloway, voiced by Jimmy Ditch, and Grace, voiced by Jennifer Tilly. And then what they realized that their farm was getting evicted, and what they realized is they're gonna lose their farm too, because, well, the owner of Patch of Heaven, Pero, is way behind tax bills that she's gonna get evicted from her farm. So, but there's a reward, a $750 reward to anyone who can find this wanted outlaw named Adam Swim. So, yeah, Maggie teams up with Grace and Mrs. Calloway and to go on to find Adam Swim and get the money to save their farm. So it's up to Maggie, Grace, and Mrs. Calloway to save their farm, and that's basically what the plot is. Now, what could I say about Home on the Range? This is a very underrated movie. This is a very underrated Disney film, in my opinion. Although this film is very overhated. That's right. A lot of people do not like this movie. And they even consider this to be one of the worst Disney animated movies. Yeah, they consider this to be one of the worst Disney films of all time. But I disagree with that. I think this film is cute, is a very cute movie, and also very fun. Kind of a fun film. And incredibly underrated. This is an incredibly underrated film. So yeah, this is probably one of the most underrated Disney films of all time. Although, I see why many people don't like this movie. It's because a lot of people say this movie is childish. Yeah, a lot of people say this movie is very childish. But I totally disagree with that. I thought it was a cute and a very fun movie. But if you guys don't like this movie, I respect your opinion. But as long as you respect mine. But yeah. So yeah, but that's just my honest opinion. I thought this film is extremely underrated. One of the most underrated Disney films of all time, alongside Atlantis: The Lost Empire, Treasure Planet, The Black Cauldron, and The Great Mouse Detective. And yeah, this is a very underrated Disney film, and it's sad that this movie has lots of hate, but is very overhated. A lot of people, this movie flopped very bad. That's when Disney took a hiatus from doing 2D animated movies. And they haven't done one until 5 years later with The Princess and the Frog, which I'll get to The Princess and the Frog at some point. But we're focusing on Home on the Range right now. But yeah. So yeah, this movie caused 2D animation to die out, which was sad. I really like all the 2D animated movies. I mean, yeah, I really like a lot of 2D animated movies, especially with Disney. And I do like other studios with 2D animation too, like DreamWorks did a couple of 2D animated films, like, they did The Prince of Egypt, World to El Dorado, and Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. And of course, Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron, which is another 2D horse movie. I mean, not horse. Well, there's a horse in this movie, but yeah. Yeah, sorry, the main characters in this movie are cows, not horses. I severely apologize. But anyways, yes. But yeah, Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron was a 2D animated film too. But yeah, I believe the reason why DreamWorks stopped doing the 2D animated films is because Sinbad flopped. Yeah. Yeah, I already reviewed on Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas, and I also reviewed on The Prince of Egypt, The World to El Dorado, and Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron. I'll probably put the link in the descriptions below. that's when I did all reviewed. That's when I reviewed on all the DreamWorks animated films. And yeah. But anyways, we're getting off topic. But yeah, this film caused the die out of 2D animation, which was kind of sad. But again, that wasn't the last one we got. But this wasn't the last 2D animation film from Disney. But we got two other ones before when Disney stopped making them. But I did hear the rumor that Disney is considering bringing back 2D animated movies, which, yeah. But anyways, yeah, so yeah, this movie caused the die out of 2D animation. But anyways, Home on the Range has great story, has a pretty great story, decent characters, and a great music, great soundtrack, and yeah, it's extremely underrated movie. But anyways, let's talk about the characters, shall we? Start with this character, Maggie. Maggie, she's a pretty underrated character, and I would definitely have to say Rosenbaum did a pretty decent job voicing her. Yeah, Rosenbaum did a pretty decent job voicing Maggie for this movie. And of course we got Mrs. Calloway. She's another great character, and I would definitely have to say Ginny, and I would definitely have to say Judi Dench did a great job voicing her. So yeah. And of course, Grace, she's a great character. I really like Grace. She's a pretty cute and another underrated character. And I will definitely have to say Jennifer Tilly did a great job voicing Grace. And we all know Jennifer Tilly voiced another Disney character. Well, actually a Disney and Pixar character. She also voiced Cecilia in Monsters Inc., which I already did a review on Monsters Inc., which I might put a link in the description below. But yeah. So yeah, Grace, she's a pretty underrated character, and also pretty cute. I mean, all the characters are kind of cute in this movie, but yeah. But anyways, that's not all the characters though. We got this horse named Buck. Buck, he's a great character too. And of course we got the rabbit, Lucky Jack. Lucky Jack, he's a great character too. You know, the rabbit with the one leg. And yeah. And of course, Pero, she's a pretty decent character. And of course, we cannot forget. And this got one thing. This character, I guess, the guy who is with Buck, but anyway, I forgot what his name is. But we cannot forget the main antagonist, Adam Meadum Swim. Adam Meadum Swim? Adam Meadum Swim, he's a very underrated Disney villain. I have to say he's the most underrated Disney villain of all time. For sure. So yeah, Adam Meadum Swim, he's a very underrated Disney villain. And yeah. Yeah, Adam Meadum Swim, very underrated villain for a Disney movie. movie. So, yeah. Yeah. But anyways, but honestly, those are the characters I can think of on top of my head. But anyways, let's talk about the songs in this movie. The songs are pretty great. The songs are great in this movie. I really like the soundtrack to it. And the music is done by none other than Alan Menken, who did several Disney soundtracks. Like he did the soundtrack for The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Pocahontas, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Hercules. And yeah, this has a great soundtrack, like great songs like the song Little Patch of Heaven. Little Patch of Heaven is a great song. I really like the song Little Patch of Heaven. And of course the yodeling song, the one sung by Adam Meadum Swim. The yodeling song, Yodel, Yodel, if I'm saying it right. That's a very underrated Disney song from a Disney villain. Yeah, the yodeling song is a very underrated song. Not the yodeling song from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I'm talking about the one from Home on the Range. But yeah. Yeah, the yodeling song was a very underrated song from a Disney villain. And of course the song When Will the Sun Ever Shine Again? Or When Will the Sun Shine Again? Was a pretty sad song, but still a very underrated song. But yeah. All the songs are very underrated in this film. This film has a very underrated soundtrack. So yeah. Again, Home on the Range. Great story, great characters, underrated characters, and a pretty decent soundtrack. Or a very underrated soundtrack. But yeah. I really enjoyed Home on the Range. I wouldn't say a lot, but I still enjoyed it from what it is. Again, if you guys don't like this movie, I respect your opinion, but yeah, this film has too much hate. And this is a film that no one talks about ever. This is a Disney film that no one talks about ever, but yeah, I know I said that a lot with other movies, but it is. But yeah, Home on the Range. Very underrated Disney film. And probably the most, if not the most underrated, or probably one of the most, if not the most underrated Disney movie. So, yeah. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. And, yeah. But anyways, that's all I can say about Home on the Range. So anyways, I'm gonna give Home on the Range a 9 out of 10. I mean, I have a lot of fun with it. And sure, there could be some flaws with it, but I still have fun with this movie. So, yeah. But again, if you guys don't like it, that's totally fine. Your opinion is respective. But, so, yeah. Yeah. To me, this film just has too much hate. But, yeah. But anyways, that is it for my movie review on Home on the Range. And stay tuned for my next movie review, which will be on Chicken Little. But until then, see you in the next video. Bye.